everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know I've been gone for a while. I probably should be welcoming myself back to my channel, but you know what, it's not that I haven't been filming these past couple weeks. I've just been having like a lot of issues with my lighting. I feel like it's just been so inconsistent, and I don't know if you guys notice. I personally noticed like I would film something and just not be happy with it. Case in point is the haul. I have filmed that thing, I would say I physically filmed it twice, but I've sat down to film it like 3 times. So I just like, you know what, this is the best I can do right now. I just need to update my bulb situations for a couple of my lights, and then I think I'll be good. But from now until that happens, it's sort of it's been like a trial and error, I'll be honest with you, but I'm constantly trying to find new ways to make my filming better and to make my video quality better, so bear with me until I sort that out. But you know, you guys saw in the haul yesterday that I presented a bunch of new stuff, or at least a lot of them were new to me, so I really wanted to test it out on camera, which is what this tutorial is. Just testing out a bunch of new stuff and seeing what the first impression is. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I certainly enjoyed filming it, because I mean, it's using a bunch of new makeup and just discovering something new. What is not exciting about that? So I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Leave your comments of course in the comment section. Let me know what videos you guys want to see. Like, sometimes I do get bored of makeup tutorials, believe it or not. Like, I would love to do other videos, but I want to also do videos that you guys want to see, and this one I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay guys, so welcome to this tutorial. First, I'm gonna go in with my brows, and I'm gonna use the brow definer pencil by Anastasia. I use the shade Chocolate for this tutorial. I still don't know how I feel about this pencil. I think that if you're not comfortable with doing your brows using a finer pencil, that this one will definitely give you problems. It's not going to give you a full defined brow, so I feel like I had to clean up my brows a little bit more than I usually do. I did like the outcome and I like the color, but I don't know if I'm gonna like this. I don't know if this is something that I would find myself reaching for, because it did take conscious effort in order for me to make it work. But as I said, I did like the outcome of the brows. So for foundation, I'm going to be using the L'Oreal, the Lancome Teinte Idole foundation. I have the shade 460 and 430, both in the warm family. I used 2 pumps of the darker shade, 1 pump of the lighter shade, and I mean, this foundation is definitely worth all the hype. It is an amazing foundation. It does look very, very airbrushed. And of course, I'm using my favorite brush to apply it, the Delium Tools 957 brush, and I'm just going to use that to buff that combination all over my face. I did like the outcome of it. It did last all day on my face. Of course, it is a 24-hour foundation, or it does promise to last for 24 hours, so it definitely did last a long time. Not 24 hours, but it did last a long time. To conceal, this is a combination that I've been loving lately, the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer and the Kevyn Aucoin Concealer. These are definitely not new. I've just been loving this combination lately, so I just haven't found, you know, one that works better. The Kevyn Aucoin one is definitely a lot pricier than the Nars one, but I would say for how much you get and for how little you need, the Kevyn Aucoin Concealer is a better bang for the buck. The Nars concealer is a lot more expensive, so for what you get. So I like to use both in different areas, and the combination also lasts a very long time. To set the under eye concealer, I'm going to be using the RCMA No Color Powder. I was really afraid of using this product when I first got it because I just didn't believe that it would be friendly on darker skin tones. But after using it, I did see that it is definitely no color. It takes on the color of your concealer, and the longer it sits on my face, the more skin-like and the more warm it looked. So I really did enjoy using that product. To set the rest of my face, I'm just going to use another Delium Tools brush. That one is a 945 brush. One of my all-time favorites. It's definitely not very dense like the 109 brush from MAC that I am going to be using in a second. So it does, you know, set products very, very well on the face. And that one is the Mineralized Skin Finish Powder by MAC that I used to set everywhere else that I didn't highlight. For the highlighter, actually no, the contour, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Matte Soleil bronzer in the shade Deep Tan. I wish if this was a lot darker because it does have the word deep in it, but I would say that it's buildable. And I love the undertone because it's not very orangey, and a lot of these bronzers, especially when it gets into the deeper family, starts to look orange. And if you oxidize, or if foundation oxidizes on your skin, it just oxidizes a lot darker. So I love the fact that it was warm but it wasn't orangey, and as I said, it's definitely buildable. But if you're, I would say, more of the NC50 and darker, I don't know if this is going to show up on you very much, even though it does have the word dark in the title. So with that 109 brush, I pretty much apply that on the cheekbones and around the face. And I'm just going to clean that up with a little bit of the RCMA powder. I should have done my contour a little bit before I do this step, but I really was excited to see if that RCMA powder was going to leave that white cast. I don't like to use a loose powder to do that because I find that it just leaves like such an extreme mark underneath it, which I don't like. So I wanted to see if the RCMA powder did that, which it didn't, but I still, you know, went back with my MAC mineralized powder just to make sure that there isn't a cast right under my contour. And by the way, I did use the Makeup Geek contour powder. I mixed two shades together, which I'll leave in the description box down below. And as you guys are seeing here, I did have to go back in with that Brow Wiz from Anastasia just to clean up the brows a bit. So still not fully committed to the brow definer, and I still don't know who it would be great for. So I will use it a couple more times and I will let you guys know. So for my eyeshadow base, I'm going to be using the Kat Von D Color Correcting Eyeshadow Primer. I was really excited for this product because, you know, I've been using Soft Ochre Paint Pot or Painterly by MAC for years, and I just wanted to try something else. I would say that if you're going to try this product, make sure after you apply it, you blend it out first. I did the mistake of applying it to both eyes, then try to blend it out, which by that time it had already set. It started to look very patchy, and when I went back in with the product just to smooth it out and for it to have a consistent color, it did pretty much remove, as you guys could see, it's very patchy. It didn't work out. Luckily, after I went in with the eyeshadows, it didn't show up. But I would say that if you're in the market for a good eyeshadow base, give the MAC ones a try. I feel like these ones are a little bit harder to use because it dries down so fast. For the eyeshadows, I'm going to use the Tartelette in Bloom palette, and I'm going to start off with that light shade just on the brow bone. And by the way, I did set the eyeshadow base down with the RCMA No Color powder. And then I'm going to move on to that shade on a MAC 224 brush, and I'm just going to use that as my transition shade. I find that with the lighter shades from this palette that I really have to load my brush with the eyeshadows in order for them to really show up true to color. So I'm not sure if this is something that you're probably going to need another palette to kind of make work in order to do a full look if you're a lot darker than I am. I find that because of my complexion, they were showing up just a little bit ashy for me. So I'm going to switch my brush now to the MAC 217 brush, and I'm just going to go in with that darker shade just below it. And I'm just going to start pretty much defining my crease, going back and forth from the beginning to the end, and I'm just going to wing that out a little bit. Then I'm going to switch to one of my favorite brushes for my crease. This is the E36 brush from Sigma. It's part of their Performance Eyes collection. And I'm just going to go in with that darker shade in the palette. It's actually the last one on the bottom right. I will leave all the names of the shades that I did use in the description box down below. But once again, pretty much all the shades that I did use came from the Tartelette in Bloom palette. And I'm just going to define the crease with that. I am going to go in with the darkest shade in the palette on that same brush, but first I'm just going to use the shade that I just used in my crease on the lower lash line. So I'm going to continue using the E36 brush, and I'm just going to use that dark shade, and I'm going to I'm going to define the outer crease as well as the inner crease, because I do want to create sort of like a spotlight for the pigment that I am going to be using in a second, which I cannot wait for you guys to see. So I want to deepen the outer crease as well as the inner crease, but I'm not going to bring it all the way around. I'm just going to do it right at the inner as well as the outer crease, and I'm just going to use the same shade on my lower lash line as well, because I really want to smoke out the bottom lash line. So now for the lid, I'm going to go back in with this pigment, actually no, a Paint Pot by MAC. This one is in the shade Black Ground. I like when I'm going to be using sort of like a dual chrome pigment to use a black background, because I find that it lasts a lot. I mean, the colors show up more true to what it actually looks like in the container. But I am also going to be using a glitter base. This one is by Eye Candy Cosmetics. I think it's called their Sugar glitter base, and I'm gonna put that down first before I use this pigment by Inglot. It is their 120 pigment, which is so pretty. It has sort of like 4 different colors in it, sort of purple, lavender, blue, as well as a little bit of pink. So I felt like it went really, really well with the crease shades that we did use from the Tartelette palette. Next, I'm going to go in with the Brow Bone color from MAC. This one is just the vanilla loose eyeshadows or loose pigment. I'm going to use that for my brow bone color. Okay, so for the longest time doing this eye look, I just wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do for my waterline. I was thinking about leaving it like a nude or doing sort of like a pop of purple, which I thought would have been very, very pretty. But I just decided to be basic and go with the basic black. So that was Feline by MAC that I applied in the waterline. And then for lashes, I'm going to use these 523 lashes. I think these are red cherry lashes. So to finish up the face, I'm going to go in with this blush. This is the Kat Von D Shade and Light blush in the shade Hansel and Gretel. As I said, they've pulled this product from the Sephora website because I think a lot of people had a lot of trouble with them. They weren't getting very good reviews. The lighter shade reminds me actually of Melba, which is what I'm using on my cheekbones right now with a Makeup Forever 156 brush. The darker shade reminds me of another blush by MAC. I'll leave it in the bottom bar down below. If you guys cannot get this, or if this is something that you're interested in, the lighter shade, there are definitely dupes to these shades, and I still don't know if I'll return it back to Sephora or keep it just for comparing it if she does re-release these. But I try to use a darker shade just to see what it would look like, but I was just not, as I said, guys, I just was not prepared to have a bad makeup day. So I did use it just to see what it looked like, but I was very I used it very sparingly on the backs of my cheekbones. Now this is the product that I was super excited about. Of course, the Candlelight Warm Glow highlighter from Too Faced. I did start off with the darker part of the highlighter, and I just pretty much applied that a lot on the tops of my cheekbones, and then I went back in with the lighter shade and only kept it to the very tops of my cheekbones. I would say that if you are light, medium, dark, even if you're deep, you could probably get away with this highlighter. It's very warm, it's very golden, it's not too frosty or it's not too bright, but it definitely gives such an amazing glow to the skin. It's by far one of my favorite highlighters. It actually does remind me of the Anastasia glow kit. So if you guys do have that one, you don't need this one, but I find that they are very similar in texture and in the glow that you get from them. So of course you want to set your foundation or everything down because it just makes everything look more skin-like, and I did use the Makeup Forever Mist and Fix Makeup Setting Spray. For the lips, I'm going to be using Lumiere Lippy Sticks from ColourPop. I did use the Lumiere Liquid Lipstick from ColourPop as well, and these two products were collabs with Kathleen Lights. So I'm going to use the lippy pencil first all over the lips, and then I'm going to go in with Whirl Lip Liner. I didn't like how the lip liner looks, so I am going to switch it to a darker one, but first I am going to apply Lumiere 2, and then I'm going to switch to Plum Lip Liner by MAC, which is sort of like a darker version of Whirl. So if you are deeper skin tone, I say go with the Plum instead of Whirl. They're very similar in that berry family, but Plum is just that bit darker than Whirl. But anyhow, guys, this is the look. I hope you do enjoy or did enjoy this makeup tutorial. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe if you have not already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.